It is the mission of Montague area public schools to educate and inspire all students to become motivated, articulate, productive, and successful citizens for today, tomorrow, and forever. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 on the agenda is roll call.
Ms. Fulmer? Here. Mrs. Newbauer? Here. Mr. Weishausen? Here. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Rapp?
Here.
Me? Yeah. Francis? Francis? Here. Saul? Here. Everyone's here.
Item 4 on the agenda is approval of agenda. Suggested motion is to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Discussion.
At this point, I would like to pay note to some of our individuals here for the retirements. Stephanie Gaunt, Nancy Rossler, and Lisa Rossler. Special thank you to them for all their years of service. With having Stephanie Gaunt with 30 years of service, Nancy Rossler with 22 years of service, and Lisa Rossler with 26 years of service. Special thank you to them. There will be more at the June meeting as well. So, thank you.
Any additional discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Item 5 on the agenda is the consent agenda. The suggested motion is to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Support. Moved by Scott, supported by Amanda. Discussion. All right. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 on the agenda is the public comment portion of the meeting. Public comments will be accepted at this time. Each statement shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board welcomes public comment. It does not respond to citizens' concerns at its meetings. At the citizens' request and the board's direction, the superintendent or designee will respond in a timely manner. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and Public for the purpose of conducting the school board's business. It is not to be considered a public comment or public community meeting. Was there nobody on the list? Is anybody wish to have a public comment? Please come forward, state your name and your address.
Elizabeth Johnson, 9175 Pauline Street, Montague. I just want to let you know that I feel it's a major problem as educators and school leaders that you don't take cases of harassment seriously. All of you except for one graduated from this school. And all of you know that what is happening in this school right now would never have been tolerated when you went to school. It would have been handled. It's not that kids are totally different. It's that it's not handled and it's tolerated. It's what you allow to happen. This is a small town. Many of the students here, or the staff here, have students in this school. And it's very concerning that staff is not allowed to speak out if there's concerns, such as the case that we're in the middle of right now, because they're possible termination for speaking out. I had multiple staff reach out to me and say, please don't give up because we're not allowed to speak out. So you're speaking for all of the students here when you're trying to protect your daughter and the rest of the students. It's very concerning that you are not taking this seriously. I really hope it's not your child or your grandchild that's next. We have consulted an attorney and we will take it the next step if you don't take this seriously.
Any additional public comments?
Ron Pearl. I have 3 questions. When is it acceptable for a staff member to have a mirror that can look into a bathroom, see the stalls when the door opens? When is it permissible for a staff member to go into the women's restroom when it's occupied, a male staff member? And when is it permissible for a staff member to comment about the female anatomy of the student and embarrass the shit out of her, and you do nothing? This has gone on for a few years now, and that member that I'm talking about is still here. At the very least, he should be suspended without pay, or with pay, because that's what you have to do. But if you guys think that that's acceptable, then this school's in trouble.
And can we get your address, please, as well?
What's that?
Can we get your address, please?
10397 Fruitvale Road. Thank you.
Any additional public comment? All right, on to item 7 on the agenda, which is reports.
All right, first up, we have the principal meaningful minute. Ms. Bro?
I'll sit down. All right, got a number of things here as we wrap up the year. Our state testing is done, so NBC, I want to give a special thanks to Sean Weber. She's our test coordinator. That's an extra organization that she takes on for the building. She does a fantastic job. Everything went very smoothly. Teachers were great. Kids worked hard. But we are glad to have that behind us. Track is almost finished. We just have 2 more meets left, and then that'll wrap up our sports season for NBC. So our last couple of weeks will be a little calmer. Last Thursday, our 8th grade had their career exploration day. So our 8th graders got to pick one of 4 pathways to go visit, match with their Zello. Had a great day. The kids had a lot of fun. They were 2 hours at each location. The kids came back with a lot of great insights. We put a priority to go out to the job site so we could have the kids see the job in action rather than bring people in to talk to you about it and show some pictures. We had great feedback from the kids and from the sites we were at. All of them said our kids asked great questions and that they were wonderful to have on site. So I want to make sure that we give some accolades to Rebel Marketing, Andy O'Reilly, GE Aviation, the Muskegon Community College. They hosted kids at the Sturgis Center and at the Health Services building there, as well as the Career Tech Center. They had the Building Trades program, had our kids out. They were watching them put trusses up and had a great day. So thanks to all those partners, and we hope to do this again next year. We had a great day.
Which was the most popular career field?
Actually, we picked those 4 pathways because they're pretty equally divided. They were all pretty close. The GE with the manufacturing engineering was about 20 kids. The rest of them were about 25 to 26. So nice distribution across the board. Next week is our last NWEA testing. We'll be doing those on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we'll be done with that for the year. May 21st is Whiz Kids. That's 6:30 in the high school auditorium. And our keynote speakers will be done at the city by size. So looking forward to that speaker and having a chance to celebrate all of our Whiz Kids at NBC. The 7th grade classes start CPR. They have a CPR class next 2 weeks. They'll start that. And those that would like to go on and get their card can test out to get their card when they do that. So that's, I want to give a special thanks to Officer Tenhold with Camp Egan. They come in and run those classes for us. May 20th, we have our last band concert. May 29th is our last choir concert. And let's see, May 27th, the 8th grade goes to the Career Tech Center. We do that every year. The Career Tech Center invites all the 8th grades across the county. They get to go and see that program. They'll get to pick up to 3 different programs that they go visit so they can see, get to experience those programs as well. All in an effort that as you get into high school, if that's something that you think you want to do, you got to start setting your classes up right. Make sure you keep up on your credits so you can go there by your junior year. So we try and show that to them early. And then June 3rd is our final community lunch. So if you'd like to come have lunch with us, either at 11:05 or 12:05 on June 3rd, Dan Gorman and I are going to be on the grill cooking up chickens from the FFA and asparagus from our local farmers will be on the menus that day. So come on out and join us.
All right, at the high school, we've already had a lot of our laughs because the seniors are done on Friday. Well, really, Wednesday, but I'll talk about that in a second. So we already had band and choir concerts, prom was great, no issues, it was a good time, good place. Mrs. Levine did a great job planning it for her first time. It's a very sad time of year for me, and I'm gonna cry. It's okay. Said I wasn't gonna cry this year. I was just typing up some of the senior sentences for graduation in my office, and it's just really great to see
all the things our kids have done and all the things that we've had. Okay, I gotta keep going. So this is a very accomplished senior class. We have 2 2-way ties for both valedictorian and salutatorian. First time, I think, ever. So that's amazing. 80 of the seniors are graduating with honors. There will not be enough awards to give all of them on Thursday. There's just not enough. We're doing our district walkthrough, and tears, tomorrow, and so we'll start at the high school, walk over to the middle school, go through all the buildings, the MAC, get on a bus, go to RRO. We're encouraging parents to find us somewhere outside to take those pictures. They always like to be at RRO because it's the elementary they all remember. Senior awards are Thursday at 6:30 in the auditorium, graduation Friday at 7, hoping to be outside. We'll have our underclassmen awards on May 30th. That's usually quite a big assembly, quite a long one, but we acknowledge all of our underclassmen for achieving the areas of core community ownership, respect, and excellence. We will invite our 8th grade students to come over and they get a tour and they get to see what MHS is all about. Track regionals are Friday. Yes, I said Friday, the day of graduation. So fingers crossed that they all get back on time. Soccer following that, and then softball and baseball at the end of the month. The FFA banquet is being planned for May 28th at the VFW, and that's always a great time for that group to acknowledge all of the things that the kids have achieved over the year. Next year, we're looking into some electives. We're switching up guitar a little bit to include some media tech components so that can last all year. And some new types of learning there. Mr. Emelander is taking that on and he's really excited about it. We're going to do an intro to coding class. Mr. Geldersma is going to teach that. Mrs. Alta is going to teach a new life skills type course. Think, like changing a tire and changing a fuse and learning how to sew and, just basic things that people need to know that we don't always think about anymore. And then we're also looking at restructuring our seminar to include more SEL, some community service projects, and academic intervention on a regular basis.
Well, as Jim mentioned, MSTEP testing is winding down. We have a few students to test yet this week, new students. Last month, we enjoyed a 3rd grade concert in the gym at RRO. That was really delightful. Not only did we get singing, but we got dancing, and that was really fun. We're gearing up for a 4th grade concert next week, and then that will wind up our concert season for this year. We have one more awards assembly at the end of this month, or maybe the first of next month, depends on rain dates for field day and so forth. But to date, we have had 8 assemblies, and we've given out 144 Student of the Month awards, 64 Bus Rider of the Month awards, 160 Special Subject awards, and 2 Wildcat awards, for a total of 370 students. And that is 370 different students that we have found that have exhibited some exemplary behavior in those locations. So we're really proud of our students. And we'll have some more next month. PTO honored our staff with a staff appreciation last week, and they spoiled us, and that was really so nice to have. This week, Denise and Jen and I are spoiling our staffs with a wicked theme. 5th grade went to the Whitecaps game in Grand Rapids, and that was a culmination of March's Reading Month and taking pledges, and then also pledging that they would read so many pages, so they got to culminate that with a game. And 1st grade is in the process of doing their country dairy field trip, and then they've already been to the library, and in 2nd grade, their Lundell Farm field trip as well. We're really excited for the senior walkthrough tomorrow. We have not only the kids are excited, but we have some teachers who are excited because they, of course, have students of their children of their own that are graduating this year. Yes, they'll cry. And I'll cry, and I don't run any of these kids. So, but you know me. Our fifth graders will be doing their annual visit over to NBC at the end of this month. And then this Wednesday, we will be working with our fifth graders. I don't know if you recall me talking about this last year, but last year we did something that was really fun. We put together pictures of them all the way from kindergarten or preschool all the way up through fifth grade, and we put a video together. And then we also did a mannequin challenge where we videotaped them in the hallway and on the playground. And so we call it our shenanigans video, so to speak. So we're going to be hoping to get a good day and no rain. It says 80% right now, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that we can get outside. So lots going on, and it's been a really great year, and we appreciate your support as always. Thank you so much.
So in kindergarten, at the MAC and preschool, young fives, it is the season of the days. We have a glow day, we have a water day, we have an animal day, we have, like everything's a day. We have a beach day. So from now until the end of the year, there's lots of different days and lots of different activities at the MAC. We've had our young fives at the Mother's Day tea, our sang some songs, gave out flowers to some parents. And then we have, last but not least, in the MAC, we had our roundup, which was really nice. And we actually had some parents show up that we didn't know about. So that's a good sign. So keep telling people we are enrolling kids all through the summer. If you know anyone, bring them. Because we had about 3 or 4 families actually that we did not have written down anywhere. We weren't going to any preschool in our area. So that was really nice. So we're very excited about that. And then Dibbles testing will start. That's our benchmarking at RRO and at the MAC. We're starting that actually Wednesday, I believe. We'll be finishing that up along with the Bridges Math benchmark. We'll be doing that also. So all that data will be done and ready to go by the end of May.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all our principals and their meaningful minute, and kudos to all the buildings for continuing to move forward towards the end of the year. Next, we have a group from the high school that will be presenting to us around a peer-to-peer option that has been new to the high school this year. And yes, you go right up there. This is Miss Melissa Treppa and Nick Thaler who will be presenting today.
First, thanks for having us tonight. We are here to present to you about the peer-to-peer program that we piloted this semester at the high school. The first time I even heard about peer-to-peer, I was lifting with Leah French at the gym, and she was talking to me about this, and I was like, "Dude, that sounds really great." And what could I do to help? And then like 2 weeks later, I'm in a room with Denise and Nick and Mia, and it's happening. So I'm glad I asked, because it's been a really great thing to be a part of. So the 4 students that are unable to be here tonight but were mentors in this program and working hand in hand with both myself and Mr. Thaler are Greta Auk, Amanda Cedarquist, Charlotte Stewart, and Jordan Tolan. And this presentation is from them to you. So this was student created, and we're just here to share the information with you guys and answer any questions that you might have. So for those of you that don't know, peer-to-peer is a program that allows students with IEPs to be paired with a peer, a gen ed student, as a mentor to collaborate and learn together. Students work with their peers one-on-one during class time in a gen ed elective or core class. The opportunity allows students to work beyond their disabilities to increase understanding and acceptance. It benefits the mentees by getting peer support, working on socialization skills, and building friendships. And it benefits the mentors by providing organization, problem solving, and also building friendships. So the big thing that we focus on with the mentor students is that this is a participation model versus a helping model. They're not getting tutoring hours like they would for NHS. They're not answering questions. They're more of a peer, a friend, someone that is socially showing them what it looks like to be a good student in class. And the research that I shared with the students showed that when you use a participation model, it shows higher expectations for the students. It creates a sense of equality versus a sense of hierarchy. The peer mentor is on the same level as the student being mentored, and it focuses on the student's strengths. So this is Amanda's slide. Amanda is reflecting on her experience both before and after. So Amanda shared that her mentor, the student she was mentoring, had a difficult time with comprehension and answering questions. She struggled to understand cues in the classroom when those turns actually weren't working. She noticed over time throughout the semester that she would ask for help so she could give advice and starting points. She got into a better habit of completing her work and assignments, and that they began to form a friendship. Charlotte's experience was that she had never had the teacher that she was with. She was in Mrs. French's classroom. Her mentee couldn't balance talking to friends and getting work done well, and often he was a little too blunt with other students. But over time, as Charlotte worked in this program with him, he was able to improve his work habits before talking with classmates. He was better at being discreet when he needed to be. And I want to point out that Charlotte's experience was slightly different than our other mentors. Charlotte's experience was actually a pilot to see if we could do a peer-to-peer experience in one of our intervention classes instead of a one-on-one. Charlotte was in Mrs. French's basic math class, and although she was paired with Quentin, she actually worked with every student in that class. So you see Charlotte reflect that she became friends with the entire class. And I will say she always came in and shared great stories about working with Quentin, but she always had awesome things to say about the other students in class too. So we were really excited to see how that could shake out with a group of students versus just one-on-one. And Charlotte and Quentin's relationship expanded outside of that classroom because they had the opportunity to work outside on the play together with Mr. Greta's experience and could be two classmates, but they started working together on almost all the students together. He began to become more focused, voluntarily did his work on his own, and that they were able to share how their day was going and talk about things that they were interested in. Jordan's experience, she had already taken the class, so she knew a little bit about what to expect. When her mentee was distracted, she could remind him what they should be doing. I think these two have probably created the strongest friendship of the pairs. They're both super interested in going into a future in business. And Jordan's mentor teacher came back and told me, she goes, "You should have seen it in class today. When Jonah got the invite to Jordan's open house, he was so excited that she even considered inviting him." So this is a really great parent. And then they interviewed the students being mentored. They said that it helped with assignments and showed that they can do them on their own. It's amazing, and it helped me talk to new people. The mentors reflected that the mentees were able to stay more focused over the whole class period. They were more open to working with other students instead of working individually, and that they were willing to help others with their workload, and that they were better at asking for help when they needed it. This is what our mentors feel like they learned. They learned from their mentees what it looks like to be overstimulated, how to find ways to help people, patience. And it opened their eyes to some of the educational struggles that their classmates with autism face day to day in classes. I assigned them stuff, so I gave them asynchronous learning to complete in addition to working. This curriculum was provided by Grand Valley State University through their START project. Denise was willing to help me out with that. We have friends who were able to help me out with that, and there's a sample little agenda for the week. So students would have articles, websites, videos to watch and reflect on. They had a personal reflection and a content reflection each week. And so from there, they said that they were able to learn about intense interest areas, how people with autism should be treated, the benefits of viewing the world in different ways, and how to stand up for the people in their classes with autism when others might be frustrated by them. We asked them for feedback on what we would do better or differently in the future. One of the big problems we had with one of our mentor-mentee pairings was the class that we put them in was not a good fit for this. There wasn't enough opportunity for collaboration. There was a lot of one-on-one and individualized work. So the mentor student came to me and said, I feel like I'm talking when I'm not supposed to be, and we're supposed to be working, and it was a challenge. So we quickly got that taken care of and moved them to a different class. So moving forward with this, I think we would want to really look critically at the classes that we put these peer-to-peer programs in. They learned some characteristics and coping mechanisms ahead of time. We did kind of run really fast with this, so we wanted the students to let us know what they needed help on so we could support them along the way. So having those ahead of time they felt would be helpful. They also thought knowing the layout of the course prior to taking it would be helpful if it wasn't a class that they had taken before. And then staff from the teachers that had the peer-to-peer said that they would like time built in to sit and meet with the mentor in their class to share with them what they thought was going well and to give them an opportunity to just, like, the kids worked with me a lot. They didn't always sit down with the classroom teacher they were paired with, so. So we had a big year-end celebration. A huge thank you to Missy Post from the ISD because she helped us get some grant money to come up with some supplies for the students. So one of the activities we did was paint your partner. So the mentor painted the mentee and the mentee painted the mentor. The kids really got into this. It was super fun. Lots of laughs. It was really, really fun. And then we had them do an outdoor scavenger hunt, and they had to take selfies of all the things on the board. Everybody successfully completed. Charlotte and Quinton were insistent that we had to give it to the team with the fastest time because they were running around like crazy. And then we also ordered some games with some of that money that we can reuse from year to year. So it was just really great to let them relax and enjoy each other's company. They all got a Polaroid of each other to take home that was dated from the peer-to-peer. So all in all, it was a great day. The mentors took some time to reflect. Probably my favorite quote on this slide is from Charlotte. It says that sometimes people don't need to be told what to do. They just need someone to do good things with. And I think a lot of these kids do need a good person to do something with, and that is really powerful. Some of them are able to look at the relationships that they have with their mentee now and look at it in a different point of view. And they're paired with people that they might not have had a class with ever. So a lot of them really reflected positively on the experience that they had. And then I also asked the staff for feedback that have these peer-to-peer relationships in their room. Again, I didn't have them in my room. I just helped the mentors. So it was really great to hear that every single person that had a peer-to-peer partnership in their room would 100% do it again. They thought it was a wonderful experience. They hope we do it again next year. Staff reported that not only was it great having the mentors in class and that the mentees learned from them, but also that the students mentoring learned a lot about patience and being willing to work with others and step out of their comfort zone. So it was really, really great to get the classroom teachers together. And I couldn't have done this alone, so if I can, I would love to give some thank yous to some people. Obviously, Leah French for being willing to share this idea with me. She has been itching to get this rolling at Montague for quite some time. It's been on paper and a dream item of hers, and I know that she's thrilled that we have done that. Chrissy Thoman, Stacey Brown, and Rob Hatton helped us get all of the permissions rolling, checking on the reporting, how do we take attendance, how do we do this. They were super helpful. Nick Taylor, because he was a super big help from the special ed point of view when we had students that were struggling with the relationships. I'm like, oh, maybe Mr. Taylor has some ideas, and Nick would meet with those students and give them ideas and suggestions that I didn't have access to. Denise from the North Service Unit has been super helpful anytime I had questions for her or needed anything. She's like, yeah, whatever, let me know. So quick to get back to us. Again, Missy Post from the ISD. Our mentors who were willing to put themselves out there with little to no training, so Amanda, Charlotte, Brett, and Jordan. And of course the classroom teachers, Teresa Dean, Josh Geldersma, and Leanne French, who were willing to also put their necks out there and let us put a peer-to-peer mentorship in the classrooms. So that is all we have for you guys tonight. If you have any questions for us, we would certainly love to answer them, but thank you again for letting us talk.
Thank you.
job well done. And obviously, as you have heard there, some very successful stories, and we will look to continue to see how we can model that in other ways throughout the district as well, but continue to move that program forward as well. Next on reports, we have our budget update with Mrs. Stacy Brown.
Okay, here we are with the final budget amendment of the school year. The board will be asked to approve the resolution this evening. Just to give you a little summary of where we were back in December when we had some information on this year's budget. We thought we would end with $2.7 million, which is about 13.5% in our fund balance. This amendment tonight is more favorable than that. We should end with about $3 million, which is 14.8%, and which is closer to the recommended 15 to 20% that districts have in their fund balance. This final budget amendment has our revenue assuming that we had 1,294 pupils with our per pupil allocation of $9,608. We do have an additional revenue here of almost $800,000 versus our revised budget. It comes in a lot of different areas. Most of that money can be accounted for in some categoricals we received. We received increased allocations of Title I, Title II, Filter First grants, T1C special education, prior year reimbursement. We have retiree healthcare reimbursement. So a lot of categoricals. And we had our electric forest transportation contract we recently entered into. While revenues are up, expenditures are up too. Expenditures are up about $465,000. And as I mentioned, a lot of those revenues were special grants or categoricals. And when you receive those as a district, you have to have expenditures to match those grant amounts. So expenses matched, such as Title I, Title II, Filter First. And then while we receive that revenue from electric forest for our services, we do have expenses. We do have to allocate salary and benefit expenses for our staff members. If we look into the revenue by each category, local sources are about $260,000. That's your electric forest contract. That is the forestry contract we recently entered into. State sources are up about $340,000. That's going to account for most of your categoricals. Transportation reimbursement, retirement, healthcare reimbursement, special ed are all going to be reflected there. And then your federal funds are up about $180,000. That's our increase in Title I, Title II allocation, and Filter First. Other financing sources are pretty close to what they were back in December, and that's the amount of indirect costs and transfer from food service. Expenditures, instruction and pupil support are all in line with our original expectations. General administration remained in line. School administration is up about $30,000. We had some staff members who elected to receive health insurance January 1st that weren't receiving health insurance back in December. Business services had very minimal variance. Operations and maintenance, we always tend to see an increase in there. A lot of operations and maintenance needs within the district. This school year, we did have the purchase of a food service truck. So the board had approved food service to purchase a van because that was going to better serve their needs. In the meantime, operations is going to buy food services old truck. So that's reflected here. We have ordered a new trailer for our van program. That will be arriving soon. We have our Filter First grant expenses here. We have some retirees who have contractual payouts of their sick and vacation time. And then we did have a little colder winter than we've had recently, so our utility costs were up a bit. Transportation is up about $144,000. That's where you're going to see our wage and benefits for electric forest staff. And then we do have a new project where we will be replacing the diesel and gas pumps in the bus garage here within the next month. Other central support decreased slightly. A lot of our tech expenditures are reflected in that category, and we were able to cover a lot of those with our tech and safety fund and reduce the burden on the general fund. Athletics is up about $26,000. We had an increased cost of the athletic trainer due to our amount of home games. Playoff expenditures were up. We had some teams do some really wonderful things when it came to making it to regional and state playoffs, and we had to pay for them to travel quite a ways away. Community service, is up by about $40,000. Our elementary summer school is reflected there, and that is funded by a grant. We have no construction costs coming out of the general fund this year, and other financing uses are down slightly due to the amount of indirect costs that we calculate. So we take all this information into account. We've got $19.8 million in revenues, $20.3 in expenditures. We're going to be taking out approximately $464,000 from the fund balance, leave us with around $3 million, which is 14.8%. We still have 8 weeks left of the school year. I've got some room for emergency expenditures there. So we're hoping that all of those emergency expenditures do not take place, and this may end up more favorable than we expected. We'll be able to have those numbers for you in August when we close it out with our auditors. Food service fund. Every year that I've been here, I told you we have an excess fund balance. I'm really hopeful that I am able to tell you here in the fall that we are going to fall under that threshold. If we look at our revenues and expenditures, we anticipate ending with about $163,000. We do have a spend down plan that's been approved by MDE, and Dan has been working really hard to follow that plan. We've got a food service delivery van that will be arriving soon. We bought kitchen equipment, including the combination oven, the tilt skillet. We have a refrigerated trailer that will help take food and milk up to our summer distribution spot in Rockberry. We bought new compressors for the walk-in cooler and freezer at MHS. And then we still have one project that's outstanding, and that's the new generators for the kitchens at RO and NBC, and that should take place here in late June. Safety and Tech Fund is our countywide millage. We are in year 1 of our renewal. This fund helps to pay for district and building software licenses, helps to pay for our technology assistance, and our devices that are at end of life for students. This year we had large purchases at NHS and RO. We try to take this fund down to close to zero every year, and we are hopeful we'll get close to about $200 in the fund balance come June 30th. The Scholarship Trust Fund, we have 4 scholarships that still are housed here in the district. That's the Griffin, Flynn, O'Connell, Trevino. Each year we anticipate we'll have a few people who donate money, and then we will pay out the scholarship to the students who are selected. We should end up around $29,000 in that fund. Student and school activity funds are the funds housed in the buildings. The students fundraise for fun events and items. We anticipate that money in is money out. We should end with around $124,000 there. And then we have our sinking fund. We don't have to prepare a formal budget for the sinking fund, just like to keep you updated. As of May 1st, we had $560,000 in the sinking fund. We completed numerous projects this year. We completed the HVAC, heating and cooling upgrade at RO. We had 3 air conditioning systems that were replaced at the high school. And now our next project is to upgrade the fire suppression systems at 3 of our buildings, RO, NBC, and the high school. It's moving a little slower than anticipated. We have our architects and engineers working on drawing up specs for this project, and we hope to be able to have those to present to you to go out for bid in the next few months. Once that project is underway and we know how much that will cost, then our next focus is going to be roofs and modernizing the elevator at RO. So I got to present this budget to you this month. Next month, you'll get to hear next year's budget. And as we put that together, we're looking at what the per pupil allocation might be. Right now, there is no solid number for us to go off of. We'll see if they solidify something here for the next few weeks. State categorical funding, what does that look like? What are they taking away from us? What additional categoricals are they going to give us? Student enrollment numbers. We know that we're graduating a larger class than we're taking in for kindergarten. How does that play into our budget? And we have ongoing building and maintenance repair costs that can always be expensive, and those have to come out of our general fund because the sinking fund is only allowable for certain projects. Through it all, we're going to stay conservative and make sure that we're fiscally responsible for monitoring schools. And that is the amendment that I'm asking you to approve tonight. Are there any questions or comments?
Great job as usual, Stacey.
Excellent.
All right, moving on to some superintendent comments. Please note, new hire, MAC Title I Parapro, Lexi Slater. She is currently subbing in the MAC for a long period of time, and she has we'd like to hire her in this process. She has a bachelor's degree from Siena Heights. A couple other things, please note on the staff up or on the board updates, Duck Creek does have a graduation on May 28th at 7 p.m. That's our alternative education. I've not formally put out those invitations in the past, but in talking with Tom Moore, it is something that you can attend if you would like. In that process, it is at Duck Creek School, and like I said, May 28th, 7 p.m. Please let me know if you're interested in going. Electric Forest, you heard Stacy Brown talk a little bit about the upcoming. We are continuing with our transportation and Electric Forest. We do supply 16 buses and over 50 drivers, not obviously just our district drivers, but around the county drivers. The only thing that's really changed this year is we are working with Shelby Public Schools for some of their buses. In that process, is they're looking for more buses. So, on to the gymnasium. We have gained occupancy of the gymnasium. We do have a meeting Wednesday with the construction management and the architecture group to go over some final punch list items that we're continuing to work through. Hopefully we'll have some more resolve after that on the Wednesday meeting. Please note, as Mrs. Stoneman said, Senior Awards Thursday night. We'd love to have you, along with then the Friday graduation this Friday. It's a 7 p.m. start. Please make sure you're there a little bit early for the processional. You should have gotten your update, board update, kind of the work that is there. And that is it for superintendent comments.
Thank you, Jeff. Item 8 on the agenda is new business. Item 8A is consideration to approve the purchase of the new ELA curriculum. Suggested motion to approve the purchase of Bookworms ELA curriculum from multiple vendors is listed in the amount of $79,270.54 from the 35J grant. Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Discussion.
So obviously we heard a great presentation from the elementary staff last board meeting, and these are the numbers that are attached to the curriculum purchase. As you can see, the dollar amount of $79,270 comes from the 35J grant that we work to report.
What's the purpose of purchasing from multiple vendors instead of just one? Is there a price?
Best price, okay. Correct. It allows us to get the most texts that we can in that process. And Katie, any other?
So we could have purchased through Open Up Resources the actual textbooks, but we saved $60,000 over the course of the required and the recommended text by contracting with Barnes & Noble. And when I approached Open Up Resources if they wanted to match those amounts, they said we can't match Amazon or Barnes & Noble because they purchase in large quantities, but the quality of the books are identical.
Awesome, great job. Yeah. Great answer there. Any additional discussion or questions?
What is 35J grant?
So it was a state grant, the literacy grant that we received in this.
For this purpose, this is what this is for. Is there money left over at it? I mean, it comes from it.
You have to spend it on curriculum resources and training of your staff on these curriculum resources. So limited.
That's what this is for.
Yeah.
We're spending within those limits.
And the professional development that we talked about that'll happen this summer.
Yeah.
And we have until September 30th to spend it. And actually the original amount, which I don't know that exact amount, was it was overseen by the ISD, and then they allotted all of the funds based on pupil numbers and so forth. So
Had you not saved $60,000, would you have been on budget under the grant amount?
well, had we not been able to save $60,000, we wouldn't be able to get all the materials. We would have had to pick and choose. And then, as you can imagine, that teachers are concerned because they don't have all the components that they need in order to teach the program. So this,
awesome.
They will not lack in any resources.
I see those. All right, any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8B is consideration of approving the budget amendment number 2. Suggested motion to approve budget amendment number 2 for the 2024-25 budget as presented per the resolution. Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Discussion.
So obviously Stacy Brown and myself met with the finance committee prior and got a more in-depth presentation of the budget. So anything you guys would like to add as well, but you've done heard the presentation here. We continue to provide an increase to the fund balance, although it was a deficit budget. As I stated at the beginning of the year, obviously we had some unknowns at that point in time, and that we would not like the budget to be at that level, and we worked to make sure that it wasn't at that level as far as the amount taken out of the fund balance. We were at around approximately that 11%. At the Amendment 1, we were at 13.5% of the fund balance, and now up to 14.8%. So kudos to Stacy Brown for all of her work and the staff as a whole to make sure that they're getting her all the necessary tools to accomplish it.
Jeff, Stacy, when you started here, what was our fund balance? And what was our
So this is 10 years now, correct? We were below. This was when Donna Bilinga was the finance director at that point in time. Her and I, that was one of my first meetings to go to the state of Michigan for under the financial warning, which meant that we were below that 5%. With the current contract, we would have $30,000 in the fund balance. Obviously, through some great works with our teacher group at that time, the teacher union, that we would work through some contract changes, and we're allowing ourselves to slowly work away at that, and now we're into a position where we feel good about the budget. And obviously there's always things that change every year, and funding that changes every year, and student count that changes every year, so we still need to make sure that we're diligent with that, but yet it's somewhere where we're not under the state treasury watch, so that's great.
Yeah, thank you for all your hard work, Stacy. You did an excellent job from a budget perspective for this. Anything you guys see on the horizon that might impact us?
Well, obviously we're going to propose a budget in June that we are really not sure. I believe just at a legislative lunch this morning that both at the state and federal level, I would imagine that there will be shutdowns due to budgets and those kind of things. So we're kind of going to guess for all intents and purposes on some things. Obviously we have some lobbyists that are working and we can kind of get an idea, but just like in past years, we'll try to make a budget that's conservative, but that it will be a deficit budget, I'm sure, at the start, and then we'll work back from there.
Awesome.
Are we finally getting that food service budget down?
I think so. I think this
No
is the
man's
year.
smacking this year.
Stacy jinxed it, I think. we're gonna get some money from somewhere.
I know, right? I'm gonna hang my head if I have to tell you we're not underneath that.
Any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8C is consideration to approve streaming at MHS graduation ceremony by CatchMark Technologies. The suggested motion is to approve payment of $1,500 to CatchMark Technologies to stream the 2025 MHS graduation ceremony. I'm going to recuse myself of this vote just because it's conflict of interest. So that's the suggested motion. Moved by Amanda, support by Joel.
So this is a thing that we've been doing since 2000 during the COVID year for graduation, working with CatchMark Technologies and looking at the work that they do. Obviously, we are, as stated earlier this school year, we are trying to work in some classes at the high school, so that we'll have more student component to that next year as far as some of the work that we do around videos and some of the other activities that you've seen over time as far as the social media aspects of it. So hopefully that will change in upcoming years, but the price here at $1,500 is probably unmatched for any company that I've been able to look. You're looking at least $3,000 plus for some of the other graphics. It's not just a video. Obviously, there's multiple cameras within the work. There's language that pops up on the screen. They're moving around. Those are all things that cost significant amounts of money. And, number one, to find a company that would do exactly that is difficult to begin with, but in some of the quotes that I've found and putting pieces together, you're far over $3,000.
Any additional discussion or questions?
How long does it hang around? Is it like on?
It's still there. You can go watch 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, it's still on.
Yeah, the video is posted to CatchMark Community YouTube channel, and it's usually an article goes with it as well to the website. So. Yeah, yep.
We don't have a market yet, we don't sell.
We don't sell.
There's no need for it.
Yeah.
Because everything could go.
And the other thing.
The district does do some sharing on their social media and some of that stuff too. So I mean, it's marketed, I would say, by the district.
I would say to save it, I guess I don't know, because we don't know the future of what technology would say. I would say put it on CD, but I know that CDs are so based now at this point.
We strike that from the record. We just say CD.
So within a saving, and obviously through the cloud, we do have those links, and if that was to change, I would make sure that we're staying up current as things change to make sure that we save those archive links as well. So.
Typically put them on floppy disks.
So, but you're bringing this is a request that you see value, the district sees value, you have requests from parents, community
Correct.
members.
This is a value. This is something that allows all the extended families to be able to see it. It's a keepsake over a period of time. Like I said, we've actually been working with the State Area ISD as well on some processes and procedures for classrooms. So hopefully we'll have more student involvement, CatchMark technology, other podcasts, some of those things that we're looking to do to help students be more involved in the future. So to say that it's necessarily going to be this in upcoming years, but yet at the same time, I do think we have to do something for this video and make sure that it's there and presentable.
So last year, I think Brent shared some numbers of historical views.
I can do that again. Yeah, I don't have them on hand right now, but I can do that in the next 4 years. All right, any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8D, consideration of overnight trip request. A suggested motion to approve the overnight student trip request for band choir students to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, May 21st to the 24th, 2026, as presented. Moved by Scott, supported by Amanda. Discussion.
So it is a request for an overnight field trip with our band and choir. This would be for next school year, for the May 21st to the 24th. We're going to be looking to attend Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, working in some of the Hollywood music situations that take place. There was the Bennett Travel, would be the consultants that we'll be working with for that trip. You can see an itinerary of everything that they're doing during that trip. This would be a student fundraising that they would do. Obviously, that's why they're looking for the approval now, because this would be over years.
Is 2 chaperones that for 75 kids?
That's my question.
So that's 2 teachers,
Yeah.
not chaperones. There will be additional chaperones.
There's
a band boosters.
And what the split is, what the show is, where you go.
Like for chaperone, you mean? Like
Yeah,
how many?
there's 50 girls and 20 boys.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
all,
you're saying,
not all
yeah.
male chaperones, right? I mean,
Correct. We would make sure that there is a male presence of chaperoning if they're based upon the number of males, and then the same for me. Total number of students, the approximated 75. Obviously, it's depending if they want to go and if they work for fundraising. But yes, appropriate chaperoning will take place within that and make sure you have male and female representation.
Any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8E, consideration of the MAISD biennial election resolution. The suggested motion would be to approve the MAISD biennial election resolution, which designates 2 people as the MAPS representative to serve as the MAISD electoral body and an alternate representative. The MAPS Board of Ed supports those 2 individuals for positions on the MAISD Board of Education and directs a representative to vote for these candidates at the June 2nd, 2025 election. Who did that for us last year?
So this is biennial, so it wasn't last year. 2 years ago in 2023, Karen was the representative and Scott was the alternate.
I would so move. That Karen be the representative and Scott be the alternate.
Say it was quick with that one.
I was gonna say, that wasn't bad. Yes. No, that's okay, I'll do it, yeah.
Would you guys be willing to serve in that capacity, Scott? All right, so the motion will be to approve the MISD biennial election resolution, which designates Karen as the MAPS representative to serve on the MISD electoral body, and Scott as the alternate representative. The MAPS Board of Ed supports Karen and Scott for positions on the MISD Board of Education, and directs our representatives to vote for these candidates at the June 2nd. Oh, we have to actually decide our candidates.
Yeah, hold on, because you just elected the.
I didn't. That's not.
That's a whole different level.
Yeah.
My bad.
A little bit of the different.
You guys just got elected to the board.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, time out.
Karen's like, I didn't agree to that. All right, let me stop on the first one. So the suggested motion is to approve the MISD biennial election results, which designates Karen as the MAPS representative to serve on the MISD board electoral body, and Scott as the alternative representative. That's it. That's the motion.
Well, and then because she's the only one running, right? So there is the rest of it that we are supporting.
We also are,
Supporting Mary Schaub.
Mary Schaub.
Mary Schaub is running for the MISD, so this is a re-election. There are 2 open positions, but only one individual that is running for that MISD position. She has served for the past 7 years on the MISD board. And previous to that, she was at Reese Puffer on their board of education for 14 years. So
What do they do as an open work position? Just fill it?
they will do a process. They will post and say that they have an open position, and they'll interview, and that.
Okay.
Do you want us to support you as well?
No, I was just curious what they did. I was wondering if they sat with an even number of board members.
So basically, the resolution will be that Karen is the representative, Scott is the alternative to support the candidate Mary Schaub. Number 3 would be the board directs its representative, which is Mubar, to vote for Mary Schaub. At least on the first ballot.
Okay, I really messed that up. And I now know Cindy's trying to get rid of me. All right, so we need a support, did we get what we need? No, did we?
Cindy was a motion.
Motion? Oh, wait, Cindy did the motion, who was support? I'll support it. Joel, support? All right, any additional discussion before I murder this evening? All right, all those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8F, consideration to approve or disapprove the MAISD 2025-26 budget. Suggested motion to approve or disapprove the MAISD 2025-26 budget as presented per the resolution.
Support.
Okay.
So
moved.
moved.
Somebody want to support? City support. So,
budget itself is the presentation as well that took place on May 1st. Brent did attend that, so he might have additional components as well, but the total 25-26 budget is for $105 million. Pass-through payments of $43 million. 7 total funds, including 3 major funds, being general fund, special education fund, and the vocational education fund. The MASD has 425 plus employees, and their student count continues to rise with their special services that they provide.
the school board representatives did unanimously approve the presentation. All agreed to take this back to the board to recommend. So, any additional discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9 is closed session for superintendent evaluation process.
So moved.
Support. All right, all those in favor?
Yes.
All right, opposed? Motion carried.
Roll call.
We need a
Roll call. Oh, that's right.
I made the motion. And who seconded that?
Cindy was made a motion, Scott seconded.
Ms. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Reff?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Weishausen? Mrs. Newbauer?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilmer? Yes.
All right. We will now go into closed session here briefly. Students, go ahead and bring your packet or your agendas up for 2 signatures that you need for your class.